Rosenqvist here in Marrakech. That's a mighty move into the hairpin.
Big move, there we go.
And Welby goes around the outside. Checkered flag awaits. Victory in Marrakech. Sebastian Welby, 2 for 2 to start the season.
That was race 2. This is Marrakech, and you're watching Formula E street races, your inside track to the world of electric cars. Now, I'm going to have a little shop around, so here's what's to come. Motoring near the Medina, we rev up with a boy racer. We see how to turn an empty paddock into a swanky FE pad. And relive race 3 through the eyes of the driver. We're here in the Moroccan city of Marrakech, where Formula E broke new ground by taking place in an African circuit for the first time. We'll show you more from that historic race a little bit later on. But first, let's meet the boy racer who's carving out his own piece of FE history. So Michael, at 16, it's amazing to say you've already got a career in racing, but today you're about to do something very different, aren't you?
Yeah.
You haven't driven one of these at all, have you?
No, this is the first time.
So you had your seat fitting.
Yeah.
And then you had a little like, here's what this button does, here's what this button does.
Yeah.
Other than that,
No, this goes driving.
you've been jetting here, there and everywhere. You're back in Morocco. How's it feel?
It feels great. Very happy to be here.
Are you a bit nervous? You've got a lot of fans out here watching you today.
A little bit. Not that nervous. Been more nervous in races, but it might kick in once I sit down. This whole series is like one of the only series that does only road races on the street, and for me, that's mainly what I know.
Let's have a look at the car. What's different to a normal racing car on these?
Well, it's all electric, obviously.
Yeah.
This here is the pit limiter.
Yep.
These three, I'm still learning.
Okay.
So.
Need to learn them quick.
And this would be the fan boost button.
Now fan boost. For people who don't know, just explain that.
Well, it's practically like you get extra power when you push this in the race. So if you want to make an overtaking move or pass someone, you just use it.
So it's quite strategical because obviously you want to use that at the killer time to do a great overtake, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gearbox, instead of it being oil, it's like compressed air. So if I start and you hear like I'm going to be going full revs until it reaches 8 bars, so then I can go to first gear and then I'll just go down. I can't do donuts this weekend, unfortunately.
I really wish you all the luck today. I hope you have a lovely time out there. And you've got all the fans to cheer you on. But it feels quite nice, doesn't it?
It's new for me.
Yeah, well, get used to it. I'll catch up with you after you've done a few laps.
Good, thank you. Yeah.
Cheers. Michael, just tell us, how did that go?
Oh, that went really, really well. It was really rough the first time I went down there because I saw one guy run across the road really fast. And that got me a little scared, but then after that I was fine.
So you had a great time, you really enjoyed it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, yeah.
From the exuberance of youth to the benefit of experience. That's the order of the day when it comes to fighting the clock to turn an empty shell into a primed FE paddock. Once they're all delivered, each team has got exactly the same time to unpack and assemble their kit and car. Faraday Future Dragon Racing shows us how it's done.
It is a unique series compared to many of the racing series. Obviously, we bring a racing package to a city. In doing so, it's a little different than where you're at a dedicated racing circuit. Everything is flown or trucked directly to that point. We're allowed 4 car crates, 1 crate for each car. Within that crate, we house the car along with as much other equipment as we can store inside. We have dedicated slots for a lot of our wallboarding, for the garage setup, our spares, and any miscellaneous parts that we need to carry. We're also allotted at least 1 Q6 container. Now, a Q6 container is a flight-type container that fits on a cargo airplane. We, this season, have purchased a second Q6, so we're now transporting 2 Q6s around the world. Inside of those are extra bodywork and any operational equipment that is required to make these cars work. It takes about 2 hours to set the garage itself up, installing our electrical cabling for powering the garage walls themselves, which have electrical plugs in them, the TV screens. Then we get the cars out of the boxes. From that point on, we're either doing maintenance work from the previous event or work towards getting the cars set up from engineering for the current event. We get approximately a day and a half to do that before scrutineering. When the race is finished, that can take about an hour for the cars themselves to be finalized before shipment. And then they go in the boxes, strapped down, lids closed, and off we go.
While the team are busy preparing the perfect paddock, it's important for the drivers to chill out before the race. And when it comes to those DS Virgin boys, well, they've really taken it to the next level.
Have you ever had the Marrakech tea? I mean the Morocco?
No, in England we just have English tea, breakfast tea.
But you have a lot of tea.
Yeah, but I've never had this. So this is my first.
It's not too bad. I really like sweet. Sweet. They put a huge amount of sugar on the tea. I think that's the main.
I need to run for half an hour on the treadmill to get the calories out of my system. Can't go skiing on that though, can you?
No.
What have you been up to in between the last one and this one?
I actually stayed at home. I tried to relax a bit.
On your iZone.
I did actually. I did the 24 hours of Le Mans in the simulator.
Oh my god.
With the Italian team, which is my team.
Come see this pool, guys.
What about you?
I've been pretty busy. I mean, with my commitments with Ferrari, a race in Fuji and a race in Shanghai. Yeah, apart from that, just training, trying to push hard, trying to lose some weight. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Have you lost some?
I don't think so. No.
No, I lost 2 kilos.
Oh please, you're gonna be lighter than me now. That's ridiculous.
Come on, you kidding me?
Don't knock mine out of the way.
Hell!
I think that we've both got the car to be competitive. It's just how we use it, how quick we can be straight out the box.
In terms of preparation, we are very prepared. As a team, we are a bit more ready, and
we knew leaving Hong Kong after the debriefs in Hong Kong that there were some things with our cars that really could be improved. We've sorted them 80% now. Still some more to go for the rest of the season, but we've done a big chunk. Fingers crossed we can make some inroads into scoring some good points for the team.
we're gonna do some points.
After that R&R, it was down to business for all 20 drivers and time for race 2. Mahindra's Felix Rosenqvist on pole alongside Sam Bird of DS Virgin Racing on the front row, as we relive it through the driver's eyes.
If we can run a clean race, then hopefully we can go with Felix and Jev and Nelson and Seb and be at the front.
Like everyone seems to think, we have such a better car, you know. We'll see. I mean, it's a long race, so I'm focused on my job.
I'll just do my best, and I think I prepared well, but in the end you have to do it out there, so we'll see.
Believe me, I'm waiting to figure out who's going to win, so that way we can create a special about me racing that guy. I want to race the winner.
Radio check.
Copy that, hear you loud and clear.
The check, radio check.
Hi, Joker.
1, 2, radio check.
Loud and clear.
And race 2 is going. It's a great start. It's a stunning start from Felix Rosenqvist.
This is good, keep going.
Tout petit peu dessous. Hold on, mate. Take it, slowly.
Oh, there's a little contact there. Bit of a push.
good lap now, very good lap now.
Welby is pushing at the moment.
Bien joué, c'est bien joué. Va chercher up.
He is setting up a move, trust me, he's just, look at him, and he's going to go a little bit, there you go.
Faut plus consommer et doubler up. Bravo, c'est bon, on continue, on la marche sur la conso.
Carry on, Jeff, you're doing a good job.
There's Nico Prost making that move into one.
It's really hard to defend against that, isn't it? Down the inside,
He came in a hurry, did he not?
Da Costa in front of us has 1% more SOC.
Big move, there we go. Look from how far back he came there.
Box this lap, box this lap.
Copy box.
Flat out is this out lap, flat out.
You are tight on energy. Box, box. Let's follow Buemi if we can.
You have a drive-through penalty, so box, please.
What's the explain to me, how is this possible?
Speeding in the pit lane.
What a disaster, Felix. What a disaster.
Faudra utiliser le frein de pouce dans ce tour. Buemi is coming from behind, is coming quite quickly.
Okay, it's Daniel ahead. Ahead of Daniel is Prost.
Rosenqvist going defensive.
Bravo, Seb, bravo.
Is guy behind for position?
Yes, Schamberg, they're fighting for position.
You have 2% more than Rosenqvist. He can't defend.
Well done, good job. 2 laps to go, 2 laps to go.
Who is the guy behind me? You need to help me a little bit more right now. I'm starting to be a little bit right now.
Victory in Marrakech, the first race winner in Africa is Sebastian Buemi.
Bravo Seb, super cool.
Merci beaucoup les mecs, la voiture était incroyable.
Yeah, good job boys, good job. Well done.
We're here in Morocco as Formula E comes to Africa for the first time. It also coincides with this year's global conference on climate change, a key part of the sport, which is all about a sustainable future.
We have grown up over the last 50 years with an energy infrastructure that in our cars we use petrol or diesel. But as we move forward into the future, it's more likely that you'll start seeing a greater diversity of fuel supply.
Solar is arguably one of the most efficient power sources we have available. Because if you think about it, of all the sun that's hitting the Earth now, if you were to capture just even a portion of that, you could power the Earth 3 to 10 times over.
What we're doing as a community, the solar car community, is developing technology. We are really trying to push the boundaries of what solar vehicles can do.
Australia, the setting for the World Solar Challenge, an event attracting solar car teams from around the globe.
In 1987, the solar cars were the single-seaters in the catamaran shape that many people have seen. The cars evolved into what became the Challenger class. They aren't a practical car that you could take to the shops and pick up the shopping with.
They're not the prettiest of things at the moment, certainly. They're very aerodynamic though, and that's the whole thing. So if you're thinking about going forward with solar-powered cars, it needs to be more efficient, it needs to be more powerful.
So the cruiser class was introduced in 2013 as a way to sort of push the boundaries on what we can achieve with solar-powered cars.
Those cars are moving towards commercialisation of solar cars.
So arguably solar cars aren't really that far away. I mean, we're already racing them, but into production for the everyday user that looks a bit more car-like than a table, you need to have that balance of the solar cell technology, the battery technology, the finance side, and the aerodynamics to work together.
Essentially, at the end of the day, a solar car is an electric vehicle which gets its energy from the sun. And that's still requiring the same drivetrain, the same steering mechanisms, everything else is the same as any other electric vehicle.
There's no two ways that there are parts of the world that have more sunshine than the others, so solar cars are going to go further and do more. In our analysis, even in London, if you took a standard electric car and you kitted that out with silicon cells on the roof, then that will cover you 1,500 miles a year, a good majority of your about town mileage.
They certainly compare really well to an everyday use in everyday cars. I mean, our top speed is 70 miles an hour. We can cruise at 55 to 56 miles an hour all day. Certainly people expect that it would be high performance.
Right now, electric cars are on the fringes of comfort zones. People go, oh, you know, the range, it's not quite there. Actually, if we bring along the concept of solar cars, then suddenly the electric cars get more into a place where you go, yeah, okay, I can see my way into an electric car now.
We'll keep you posted on any future solar developments. In the meantime, last week we brought you the launch of Jaguar's first street electric vehicle. This week is the turn of Next EV. They've launched a groundbreaking car under their new global brand Neo. It's the world's fastest EV, the Neo EP9. It can do 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in 7.1 seconds. The more conventional EV is yet to be revealed, but will be a Neo street car to go on sale in China next year. We'll have much more on this development and the new Jaguar in next week's show. Elsewhere, it's also been a big week for App Schaeffler Audi Sport. They got top billing as the first FE car to be showcased at Japan's annual Ecology and Mobility Fair. The event focuses on shaping the future urban landscape and lifestyle. And Formula E CEO Alejandro Agag was among the VIP guest speakers at this week's TED Talk in Monaco. TED Talks specialise in spreading the word on all things technological. Another coup for FE. Now, earlier in the show, we saw how a team set up for race day, but what about during the race itself? Let's find out with the help of Mahindra.
We essentially have 12 people working in the command center. Of this, 8 are people who are really working, 4 try to look busy. While it does look chaotic, while it does look like, okay, you're in the kitchen while you're seeing food being prepared, there is a science to the madness. The work at the command center starts a couple of weeks before we get to track. Typically the ratio is like 100:1. So it's 1 hour of racing, we're spending 100 hours of simulation before that. Essentially what we're trying to do is manage energy and be efficient. When we start the weekend, we have certain, options and strategy. And as the event goes on, we start eliminating some of these options of strategy. The biggest problem for us is the variable called the driver. So we need to get a driver to start operating, and that's where we sort of help command and work with him.
And race 2 is going. It's a great start. It's a stunning start from Felix Rosenqvist.
There is a lot of input which is coming in. We get FI data, then we get data from the television. We are looking at, because the television has more data than what the teams get, so we're looking at that. Getting a lot of data from the drivers in terms of input. We do have certain weather channels which we monitor, and we get some weather data. Largely during the event, it's the driver's input which is really important.
Rosenqvist is in, lead is in.
Leader in the
must.
pit. Surely everybody's got to come in. So there we go.
Up goes the race leader, Felix Rosenqvist, back into action.
A lot of time there is tension because, okay, we are sort of thinking ahead. You're playing a chess game with 18 other players at the same time, okay?
Try to reach 1.6. How is it right now?
10.53.
Webby has more energy than us, so don't waste so much energy defending.
To be honest, I'm not the best person sitting in the room. I worry. I'm tense. I tend to be there, try and keep myself quiet, bite my tongue at times. Where I'm sort of helpful to the team is try and see what's the immediate opposition doing to us, okay, and contributing towards it.
11.12, target 150.
See, obviously there is a lot of release of tension at the end of the race, but again, it depends on the result. If it's a good result, I think you can go on for another day. You're ready to take on the world.
And our pole man, Felix Rosenqvist, thrilled to bits on the podium in his second ever Formula E race.
So that's how the team got on, but let's get to know one of their drivers a little better. Name?
Felix.
Age?
25.
Team?
Mahindra Racing.
Favourite animal?
Komodo dragon.
Childhood ambition?
Sports athlete.
Adult ambition?
I don't know.
Favourite country?
Italy.
Worst habit?
I'm very messy.
Your teammate's worst habit?
It's too German.
Greatest moment in your life?
Winning Macau Grand Prix.
If someone could play you in a movie, who would it be?
Brad Pitt.
Which superhero would you be?
Deadpool.
Do you remember the first album you ever bought?
Yes, Californication with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Sporting hero?
Mika Häkkinen.
Mick Hucknall?
No, Mika Häkkinen.
Oh! Have you broken any bones?
Never. Yeah, actually, I broke my rib when I did mountain biking.
And if you weren't a racing driver, what would you want to be?
Probably skier, professional skier.
Best dance move?
I have one.
You do?
One move when I'm not in the sober state, which is called a one-leg dance, which maybe we can see later this year.
Interesting. And we'll follow Felix's progress throughout the season. But in between now and race 3 in Buenos Aires, the next major event for our drivers will take place in Vegas. If you were watching last week, you may have seen Daniel Abt getting some practice in for the Road to Vegas e-race. It's an historic esports competition that could land you an all-expenses-paid trip to the Sunset Strip. The 10 fastest fans from the qualifying stages will line up against the Formula E drivers in a virtual race for a share of $1 million. With no doubt, it's the biggest sim racing championship ever held. With an international format, thousands of users will be able to compete in an unrivaled competition environment where the simulation and regulation will be the priorities. Qualifying is currently underway, and this week saw the heat and the final of the penultimate venue, the Berlin circuit. Leading from pole to take the checkered flag was Olli Pakala from Finland, who beat Britain's Graham Carroll into second. And that's how they line up in the overall standings, with 3 qualifying events down. The last chance to book a place in Vegas is at the London circuit in December. Now, before we leave Marrakech, let's reflect on the experience you and our drivers have had during race 2 in Morocco. First up, there's no hanging around in the Dragon Racing Garage. This all-action snap of Loic Duval proving the highlight of the weekend for FE fan Benyahia. Staying with Mr. Duval, he seems to be in deep discussion during the camel expedition featured last week. Feel free to send us your thoughts on what you think these two were talking about. Too busy bonding to notice was MS Amlin Andretti's Robin Frins capturing the moment with his new friend. Back near the track, Daniel Abt found a unique way to canvas support for Fan Boost during the course of the weekend. Not sure how happy his fellow drivers will be to know that they were helping with the free publicity, but you can't deny his ingenuity. And it ultimately paid off, with Abt amongst the 3 drivers given that extra burst of energy. And another of the Fan Boost recipients, Lucas de Grassi, showed his skill without the extra surge, as we can see again his fantastic overtake of Robin Frins during the race. As the question asks, let us know if you think that was the best overtake of the day. But the final word goes to the man to beat, Sebastian Buemi, keeping his cool despite an excitable first 2 races. Well, I'm afraid it's time to wave goodbye to the magic of Morocco. It's been a rollercoaster ride on our first outing to Africa, but now the race calendar moves on and it's off to South America.